It's a itsavgbltpta. I totally suck at video games, but love to play them anyway. Aloha, I'm Veggiepeta, and 2017 is over. So now it's time to look back and see what the best games of 2017 were. There were a lot of good games in 2017. A lot of them I didn't quite get to or didn't have a system to play either. But I do have my list of personal favorites, so I'm going to kind of break them down into what system they came out for, and let's just get things started right away. Keep in mind, these are in no particular order because the order they would be in would change depending on my mood for the day. So these are just my favorites overall. Best games of 2017 on systems I don't own. Cuphead. Even if I had a system that this was on, there is no way I have the skills to play this game. It's definitely got some cool art going for it. I'm not particularly a fan of like the 30s style art, but even I can recognize they put a lot of work and detail into animating every character and like every frame of animation. I've watched a lot of Let's Plays of this game just because it is fun to watch, and the fact that it's pretty much default co-op and like same couch co-op no less is kind of something nice to see. You don't see too many strictly not online co-op games that come out. You could play it single player, but the difficulty of this game definitely it would help to have a second player. So yeah, Cuphead, even though I'm never going to play it, I recognize it for being really cool. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. This game is not my cup of tea at all. In fact, it's just an online PvP game with no story or point except to win. And yet, it's strangely fascinating. Again, I watch people play this game. I'm never gonna play it myself, but like watching people play it and they get so invested and like they scream at people and try and get to the circle, and I don't know, the winner chicken dinner, that's kind of cute and fun. The battle royale aspect of it where 100 people are in and then only one man leaves. I will again never play this game even if I have a system it plays on, but it's another one I can recognize where people have a lot of fun with it. Even if it's kind of a broken mess, it's definitely a phenomenon, and much like Cuphead, it's kind of fun to watch people play, so it gets on my list. Doki Doki Literature Club. I can't say too much about this game without spoiling a lot about this game. I haven't played this game, but I've seen videos of it and I've seen theory videos of it, and I kind of know what happens. It's unique. The warning it gives you, I mean, again, the warning is kind of spoilers itself, but it's not quite the happy dating sim visual novel game it seems to be. There are parts I'm not a fan of, kind of how it's basically a viral ad for a different game. Even though it's a game in itself, it's also promoting another game that's not out yet. But there are definitely some fun theories involving this game, and there are all sorts of memes and crazy things that came from Doki Doki Literature Club. I think the fact that visual novel game, even if it's a little unique, got so much attention from like people who would never play these kind of games. That's what makes me put it on my list of best games of 2017. Best games of 2017 on handheld systems. Collar X Malice. This is the best Otome game I played all year. It may be my favorite Otome game so far in general, although more are coming next year, which again is amazing to me that Otome games are actually getting translated and localized for actual sale. It's pretty cool. This is a visual novel, dating sim made for girls. So basically you play as a girl and there are different male options in a choose your own adventure style game. It has an actual overall good story. It's kind of got some interesting mystery and different stuff that you don't normally see in Otome games, I guess. The heroine is actually useful. I mean, her usefulness varies depending on which path you go down, but she's not just a vapid, empty heroine who has no point except to be pretty next to boys. She's a better shot than pretty much any of the guys that she's paired up with, and she's not super dumb or airheaded, except when it comes to technology, but you know, she had to have some fault. I also liked the character designs. The art is pretty in this game, so that's always a plus when basically the whole game is staring at art of the characters. This is actually, I think, the only game I platinumed this year too, and I mean, it's a visual novel, so it's not so hard to platinum, but I played it pretty hardcore as soon as I got it, and I didn't stop until I was done with every single route. Undertale. Yeah, okay, so I know this isn't technically like the first time I've even played Undertale or the first year it's been released, but it finally came out on the Vita this year. It also came out on PS4, but we're gonna put it in my handheld category because that's what I played it on. I don't know how much more can be said about Undertale because it's been talked about to death, and some people are probably very sick of it, but I still really like the game. The music, the characters, the different choices to make, the little secrets to find, the dialogue, it's a good game, and anyone who hasn't played it yet is going to get a lot of fun out of it. And even if you have played it, now you can play it on the go with the Vita version, which is really nice. There's a little bit of an addition with like a dog shrine, and you can play it in Japanese now, which I haven't done, but it seems like a cool idea. The limited edition that I got came with a music box locket, actual musical score from the game, the CD soundtracks, and a cool box. It was a lot of love for people who love Undertale. I may be cheating with this entry, but I don't care. Undertale was a great game in 2017, just as it was when it came out. Metroid Samus Returns. I'm kinda cheating with this entry because I didn't play this game. I don't even own this game, but I like where it's going. I don't like the Metroid Prime games. Just boo me all you want. I don't like them. They're first-person exploration Metroid games. That's not what I want in a Metroid. But a 2D style old school Metroid game, that is cool. I don't own this game because I don't really like playing my 3DS. After playing the Vita and the Switch, like going back to the 3DS is kind of a mess. It's square and blocky, hard to hold, and the graphics are not great anymore. And I'm not just a graphics whore, but you know, when you compare, it's hard. So I didn't buy the game because I don't know how much I'd actually play it, but I did watch other people play it, and I can say I like the direction that they were going in. It's probably the best 3DS game that came out this year, at least in my opinion. So even though, again, I didn't buy it and I haven't played it, I'm going to put it on my list because I'm happy about it. Best games of 2017 on the Nintendo Switch. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I mean, honestly, what more is there to say about this game that hasn't been said by millions of other people who adore it? I have never finished a Zelda game, and sadly this is no different. However, this is one of the Zelda games that I can see myself playing a lot of hours in, even if I never finish it, because it's just fun to wander around. I'm not a huge fan of open world games in general, but some of them just grab me. And this is one of them. My biggest complaint is the destructible weapons because I really hate that aspect. I don't know, it just seems like a big bother. But everything else in the game is a lot of fun. The horses, the cooking aspect, just being able to go anywhere and climb almost anything. You make your own little goals as you go around, like, I'm gonna get all the towers, which I did. I got all the towers discovered before I have even done any of the Guardians. It is a good game. It is a breath of fresh air for the Zelda franchise, especially after Skyward Sword. And if Zelda games continue in this vein, I may actually end up beating one day. Super Mario Odyssey. I'll be honest, I haven't played much of this one, but even the small amount I've played is fun. It's just fun. It's Mario being Mario in a really fun game where there's secrets you can explore, or you can just get through the levels. Like, it can be as easy or as hard as the player needs it to be. The different levels and the costumes and the moons that you can collect or not collect if you don't feel like it. I don't really have to talk much more about Mario Odyssey. Everybody knows how amazing it is. Nintendo knocked it out of the park this year with their first party releases. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I really didn't like the combat in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, and I never played much of the game. I didn't even like the idea of Xenoblade Chronicles X. I'm a huge Xenogears fan, and I played the Xenosaga games, so Xenoblade Chronicles 2 had a large wall to conquer in order to make me like it. But I really wanted an RPG for the Switch and a game I could sink my teeth into for a long period of time. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has delivered so far. And even though I complain while I'm running through these crazy open areas, trying to escape giant birds and monkeys that are going to kill me in one shot, I've spent 100 hours in this game so far, and I'm only halfway through the story. It's a good game. Like, there's a lot of things I could complain about, and yet I keep coming back for more. The combat, while not my favorite since it's got reliance on AI companions, it's got enough in it that I actually really like it as well. It's kind of got a rhythm-based canceling system that lets you do moves into other moves. It's got element orbs that you can exploit. It's cool. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is more than I was hoping for, and we'll see how many more hours I put into it before it's actually done. Best games of 2017 on the PlayStation 4. Nier Automata. This game has the typical Yoko Taro plot of crazy awesomeness, but it's also combined with Platinum Games' very smooth and better handled combat, versus, you know, the Drakengard games or the first Nier, which were made by a studio who, they gave it their all, but the combat was never something to write home about. Whereas the combat in Nier Automata is definitely an improvement. It's kind of like 3 combat styles in one, because there's like melee, but then there's shooting, and there's almost like bullet hell sections. It's got a lot for everybody. I don't know how to classify this game, because it's not just an action game, but it's not just an RPG, and it's not just a bullet hell. It's a big pot of awesome. That's all I can say about it. The music is also amazing, although you'll have to hear it yourself to really judge. But it works well with the setting and the atmosphere of the game. Typical to Yoko Taro games, there's more than one ending. There are 5 main endings, but there are 26 endings overall, which is a lot of endings. When you think you've beaten the game, you haven't. Then when you think you've beaten it again, and you're like, oh, that's all there is? Oh, no. There's more. The game evolves into something even crazier, which I love. It's great. Unexpectedly, Nier Automata kinda got popular. Like Yoko Taro games, the Drakengards and the first Nier always had like a small crowd of devoted fans, but somehow Nier Automata like got a lot of attention and a lot of people liked it. So here's hoping that he's gonna put out another game that's just as good or even better. Persona 5. I mean, come on, it's Persona. You know I love Persona. I know I love Persona. There was no chance this wasn't going to be on my list of best games of 2017. But I have to admit, even though I was kind of predisposed to loving it, the changes that they made were made for the better. The graphics and setting in like a busy city of Tokyo versus the smaller town settings of Persona 3 and 4, it's nice. Like there's people and buildings and it's things I actually recognize because I've been to those places. So that was really great. Not to mention the train system. Sometimes I would just, you know, take the train system just because the sounds reminded me of being back in Japan, which is so good. The combat UI is the best turn-based JRPG UI I've ever seen. It's streamlined and yet it's stylish, so you feel cool even though you're just pressing buttons to do actions like any other JRPG that's turn-based. You don't just scroll through menus, it's more impactful. Hey, and not to mention, another plus is that they actually offered the Japanese dub as an option for audio. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate what English dub actors do, but if I can listen to something in its native language, no matter what that is, that's the option I'm gonna choose every time because it's just how it was meant to be heard. Persona 5 is the best JRPG of the year, hands down for me. Resident Evil 7. I was very skeptical about this game when they first announced it because it's a first-person game and I generally am not great at those and sometimes get motion sick at those, so I was upset that that's what they were turning Resident Evil into. However, the game is good. They have the right balance of kind of old Resident Evil survival horror aspects mixed with newer gameplay and what people have been enjoying on mostly the PC end of like first-person horror games. It is a great mix of it. Even better is playing it with the PSVR because, oh my god, being in that mansion and in the yard and having things fly at your face or scream and lunge at you, whoa, it's cool, it's great, I love it. Plus I can aim better in VR. I have a problem aiming in games with guns with using the analog sticks, but in VR I can just like look where I want to aim and fire, and it makes me much happier. Resident Evil 7 has made me scream multiple times. I'm only halfway through because we moved part of the way through the year and the setup doesn't really let me play it and record it anymore, and I wanna share my love of this game with everyone else. But I may just power through and play it in the PSVR even if I can't show you guys because it is a really good game and I want to finish it and see what happened to the sewer gators and what happens with our hero Plus I hear there's DLC where you can play as Chris Redfield, and he's my boy. So Resident Evil 7, great game. I love it. It's on the list. Yakuza 0. I have an honorable mention for the PS4 games, and that honorable mention is Yakuza 0. It's not on this list because I haven't played it at all. I just got it for Christmas, so I will be playing it probably next year because I might as well finally start playing all the Yakuza games I own, and what better place to start than 0? But I couldn't make this video without at least mentioning Yakuza 0 because I know it's gonna be great. Now let's look ahead to 2018, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say the 3 games I'm most excited for coming out. Possible best games of 2018. Persona 3 Dancing Moon Knight. Listen, I don't care what people say about milking the Persona franchise. I adored Persona 4 Dancing All Night. It was amazing. I played the hell out of that game. I really loved using the touchscreen on the Vita for the rhythm parts, so I'm really hoping that Persona 3 Dancing Moon Knight keeps that on the Vita version. Persona 3 is my favorite Persona game, so I want to see all those characters dancing and in crazy outfits, and I love the soundtrack. It's my favorite Persona soundtrack too, so I want to hear these remixes and see what they do with it. I don't know what kind of story it's gonna have. It doesn't really even need to have a story. I just want to play the awesome music with awesome characters and an awesome rhythm game. No More Heroes. Travis Strikes Again. I love the No More Heroes series. I mean, I know there's only like 2 games, but they're so good! So when I heard that they were coming out with a Switch game for No More Heroes, I got super excited! Now I know it's basically just a bunch of mini games put together, and they're not even all by Goichi Suda, aka Suda51, but you know what? It's gonna be okay. I'm still looking forward to just having something No More Heroes to play again. And it's for the Switch, and my Switch needs more love as well, so that's gonna be a good time, or at least I hope it's gonna be a good time. Monster Hunter World. So my group of friends, we are pretty much all Monster Hunter players, or at least vaguely Monster Hunter players, and we legit used to get together every Monday with our 3DSs and play Monster Hunter 3U. And I'm not talking about 4 of us getting together. I'm talking anywhere between 8 and 13 of us getting together and all splitting off into different rooms and just playing Monster Hunter for hours on end. So when Monster Hunter World got announced, everybody got a little excited. It'll be nice to play the game on a controller that I like instead of the blocky 3DS. So that's going to be exciting, and the only problem is some of our friends have Xbox Ones instead of PS4s, so that'll be sad that we can't play with them anymore. But that's what they get for getting an inferior system. Monster Hunter in HD looks very pretty. Those monsters are going to scream at me, and I'm going to go, ah! And then I'm going to run away, and then I'm going to try and beat them up anyway. The environments are cool, and the things that they did to streamline some of the gameplay look interesting. I think it'll work out because it seems after playing the beta that they kept a lot of the core gameplay elements, but they just kind of streamlined some of the things that were a little bit annoying. So I got high hopes for Monster Hunter World. Those were my favorite games of 2017 and my picks for favorite games of 2018. These are all just my opinion, and I know a lot of you are probably going to disagree with my choices, or you're going to say, why wasn't this game in there? Or why didn't you even play that one? Or God, why don't you play games on PC? Because I don't want to. Anyway, they're my picks. That's what I loved about 2017 gaming. There were enough games for everyone to have a ton of favorites. Let me know what your favorites were in the comments or on Twitter or Facebook, wherever the heck you want to let me know. I know I have weird gaming tastes, so I always like to see what other gamers have as their favorites for lists like these. 2017 was kind of front-loaded in the first half of the year with amazing gaming stuff, but on the whole, it was definitely a good year for games. Plus, I got to go to E3, so that's checked off my bucket list, making it an even better year. Hopefully, you all enjoyed your gaming year of 2017, and here's hoping 2018 can be even better.